Nina Green with a couple of board gamers. I'm sitting here at Dice Tower West with Stephen Buonocore, the podfather of gaming.
And great friend of Nina Green.
Yes.
Yeah, so good to be doing this. Is your first, maybe, kind of one of these?
Yes, it's the first one I'm getting to ask on camera. I have a question I've been asking everyone here at Dice Tower, and I'm going to ask Stephen, and he's going to tell you guys the same.
And you had to pick this big question, this hard thing to answer, of course. So
yes.
Wow, she's and it's first thing in the morning here. It's 9:30 a.m. I'm barely caffeinated.
It's not 9:30 in Texas where I live, or Florida where you're from.
But I'm exhausted.
James and I did the video, 5 games that describe us, and so that has been the question that I've been asking everyone here at Dice Tower. 5 games, Stephen, that would describe you as a gamer.
All right, so I'm taking this to mean not necessarily my top 5 games, right? But 5 games in different categories and why I game and reasons why I would choose games of all these categories. And the first thing to say is that I am an omni gamer. While I don't prefer to play super heavy Euros that take 2 hours, not usually my thing, I do just about play anything. I just enjoy games in general. So I'm not doing these in any particular order. Maybe the last one's in a particular order. But the first one I'm going to pick is in my kind of me as a social game.
Okay.
I mean, that defines me more than anything.
Yes.
I like the experience of sitting around a table, competing, or cooperating in a game. But the social aspects of these things and party gaming is a very big thing that I love to do. So party games are a big thing. So my first choice to define me as a gamer is Codenames. Now, I've told people every time I've talked about Codenames, I say every family in the country should own Codenames.
Agreed.
They should take the stupid Monopoly games that Grandma gave them for the last 5 years, take them, throw them in the garbage, and put a copy of Codenames in their place.
That's a great game.
It's amazing.
You can play with kids, you can play with adults.
Who can't you play that game with, right? Literally, play with Grandma, right?
Yes.
You absolutely can play with non-gamers. In fact, I play it with my family of non-gamers, and they love it. So they cheat because they're they're making all kinds of noises as they're playing, completely cheating. But it's as long as they're gaming, it makes me happy. So Codenames, without a doubt, in the social party nature of Stephen Buonocore, I select that.
That I never would have guessed that would have been your social deduction game.
Not social deduction, social party
right,
game.
Right.
Not social deduction.
Social deduction.
I might have one of those here too. All right, we'll go there next. I didn't put that next, but we'll go there next.
That's fine.
So because social deduction is also, again, it's also about being social, sitting around a table and trying to fool each other, right? Now you're you're the Cylon.
I know.
And I'm going to pick that game in particular, Battlestar Galactica. Oh, we should mention, which I know you love too, but we should mention the fact that we played a social deduction game. We played Resistance Avalon not too long ago at BGG Con, and she bamboozled me completely. It was her and her husband, and they were both pointing at each other. Nah, you're the traitor, you're the traitor. Yep. And she destroyed us.
My favorite.
That one is your favorite?
No. That moment in gaming might be my favorite moment in gaming ever.
I was just cursing up a storm. It was just oh my God, they should just beat us so badly. But my number one in the category is a bigger game, right? Longer game, and that is Battlestar Galactica, which I've been playing since it first came out. I know it's out of print now.
It is.
So you can buy
Unfathomable.
Unfathomable, which is quite similar, uses the same engine in the Cthulhu universe. Battlestar Galactica, social deduction, and dripping with theme. And that's gonna be a theme of the lots of things I mentioned after this. I really love theme in games. So when you're playing Battlestar Galactica, whether you're the Cylon or you're a good guy, you're role playing it. You're just getting into it. If you're playing it the way I play it, you're just getting into the whole thing, and launching fighters to go attack ships, or trying to warp out, getting to the point where you warp. That's not what they call it. Light speed out, jump when you can jump out of the sector. But awesome game. Don't get it to the table nearly enough. And
it's such a long game.
It is right. It's a 3-hour game, and that's if you're just playing it base game. It's going to be solidly 3 hours. But it's so wonderfully designed and done.
I think I feel like I'm in the Galactica universe when we play that game.
You are, and you get one of the roles, right? You become the the president. You become Abdallah, and he's great in fighters, so you send him off the ship and stuff. Just wonderful game. Love every moment of when we play that.
That was actually on my list as well.
Oh, there you go. Perfect.
5 games. Yeah.
Yes. So my next one, let's jump back there. So again, dripping with theme. This is in the category of hidden movement. Now, I love hidden movement games. We can try to play one in a little while. Led us to Whitechapel, which is Jack the Ripper theme.
Yeah.
I've owned this game forever. Unshrunk it this week and had some people over, and we played this.
I can't believe you just played that.
I know.
It's an older game.
You should see my wall of shame. It's shameful. But the one that I'm picking, and this one is as good, but much, much easier to play and much lighter. This one I'm going to play 10 times versus my actual pick. But this one is the one that I really cut my teeth on and have been playing it since way before there was a Stronghold games, and this is Fury of Dracula. There was the original incarnation by, I forgot who even did it, and then Fantasy Flight got it, did a first edition, then he did a second, and I think they're in the third edition now.
Might even
Maybe, I don't even know what, whatever.
It's been a minute.
It's so good, but again, this one is a big, right? So this one's going to go in like a 3-hour game, sometimes a little less. You are hunting Dracula. It's one versus many. I love playing Dracula. I love fooling everybody. And the hunters, from the Dracula universe, Mina Harking, and all of them, they're trying to find via deduction where Dracula's been. Big game where Dracula is plotting out his or her movements card at a time. You can't double back until you get the card back into your deck. There's so many different ways to play the game, and it plays out differently every time you play the game. Just is a long game, so it might not be for everybody's schedule, so that's why you can go do Whitechapel, which is like an hour, if that kind of game.
Or Mind Management.
Mind Management, I just played this week. I don't know if you played it yet.
I've played it a couple times, we have it.
Yeah.
James and I love it.
Just got introduced to Mind Management, which is new for, I think, 2021. It came out. I don't even know who publishes it, but you can go check that out. Fantastic game, sort of between the two weights. It's a little heavy, but not heavy at all, and plays in like an hour. So really great, absolutely wonderful, and again, dripping with theme and a great social experience. So that's number 3. I think I'm on 3.
Third
right?
one, yes.
All right. So number 4. While I wasn't necessarily going to put a Stronghold game on there, right? I have no affiliation anymore. I'm retired. This one really does also, speak to me. It certainly put me and Stronghold solidly on the map, and that's Terraforming Mars.
Of course.
Terraforming Mars is that mid-weight Euro card-driven game, engine building. It does all of those little niches. It has a little area control. It just does all of those little things so well, and as well, it is highly thematic. You really feel like you're doing what you're doing there. Some Euros are very dry, and you don't actually get the experience of doing it. I don't know if you're putting cubes here and changing to another cube in some game, another color. That's not very thematic. But the way Mars develops, terraforms over time, you look like you're doing it. And those cards that you're playing, those project cards, they're like true projected science.
Right.
That game takes place in the 2400s through the 2800s. So you can almost see that, like snow algae, for instance. Like that's something that you would try to introduce there onto a very cold planet. That's one of the early steps. And penguins, right? You'd put penguins there because they might be able to, once you get enough oxygen on it, actually survive. One of the first mammal bird kind of things. So Terraforming Mars does all the right things for me. Phenomenal game, and that will be my Euro pick.
Got a great engine building aspect to it, and I love engine builders. Just that, hey, I'm going to think 6 steps through this and try to make my engine work as best, but you better not put all of your energy into that, because once you've got the oxygen up, you still have to work on the other stuff.
You do. So, and I love the fact that, I love card-driven games in general. You'll see that with the next pick. The fact that when you get your 2 corporations, and hopefully you're playing with Prelude, with 4 Prelude cards, you got to play with Prelude, I think. You look and you see the synergy there. That's going to drive your strategy. You might have walked into the game saying, I really want to get Ecoline and play the plan strategy because it's easy. But you get these 2 corps, and one's like heat, uh, intensive, and the other one is, will go great, if you go titanium. You're like, okay, and then I'll pick these two prelude cards, boom, and then that will drive your strategy for the whole game, and it always plays out.
And the card drafting, I like drafting the cards.
100%.
Always, it's way better to do that.
100%. It gives you the control that you need. It's going to add a little bit of time, but it's going to give you just enough control to make the whole thing work out.
It's great.
And then we get to number 5, which I bet at least some of the people listening, watching, are going to know this game. You know what game it is, right? You're looking at my cheat sheet?
No, I'm not looking at your cheat sheet.
No?
I would guess Lord of the Rings because that's your thing.
Well, you're on the right path, but which? War of the Ring. I talk about this game because everyone asks you, like, what's your favorite game? It's always War of the Ring. It's always my top game. No, I don't get to play it very often.
That's a long game, too.
Have in the last couple of years, once a year, I've played it, and I'm going to be playing it next week because my buddy's coming down from New Jersey.
Awesome.
And we're going to hope to play Battle of the Five Armies, Hunt for the Ring, and War of the Ring, and play them all next week. But War of the Ring is literally, in my opinion, like one of the best design games of all time. Hard to say best, but I say best because
it's your favorite.
My favorite game. It's at its heart, it's a 2-player card-driven war game, but with really modern hybrid Euro mechanics. Right? You get cards. That's going to kind of drive your strategy.
Right.
You're going to roll dice, and you're going to have an action dice selection as well. So I'm going to select one of the dice that I roll. It's going to be a character action. Therefore, I have a couple of things I can do with the characters. I can move an army, or I can move the Fellowship, because the object of the game is to get the Fellowship. If you're playing the good guys, get the Fellowship to Mordor, dunk the ring, you win. If you're the bad guys, lots of ways to win. Take over enough of the strongholds on Middle-earth.
Right.
Or corrupt Frodo. Frodo gets so corrupted, he succumbs. Another million years of...
Which is how I lost recently.
Oh,
James killed me at that one.
Yes.
I was rolling trash.
You are subject, of course, to a little bit of dice roll, luck, and stuff like that. But there's a lot of mitigation to the dice roll, because you are rolling a bunch of dice and able to select them as you go along to create your strategy. I can't, literally if I had, a gaming partner that would play this all the time, I would play this much more often. I'm going to teach Paula this so that yes, maybe I'm going to have her watch. Oh, and this game is also really cool because you can play it 3 or 4 players. Now, 2 players at heart, right? The shadow player versus the 3 people's player. But it's a great way to teach somebody is to have them play with an experienced player as a third, or have 4 people with 2 inexperienced, or anything like that. And there's limited communication, another kind of cool thing, because you take parts of the Shadow Army, you take parts of the Free Peoples, and you can kind of pass cards over between you and your teammate. You can't say, I've got this and this, can you use that?
Yeah.
I have a card that you might be able to use.
Hey,
Trade a card. I'm going to give you this card. So things like that, and it just makes so well, so streamlined, stands the test of time, especially because every game seems to come down to the final turn. The final turn. Everyone rolls dice for the final round.
Yeah.
Not turn, but final round where, okay, the shadow player's got a bunch of dice, free people have a bunch of dice, and you're picking dice, and it's either going to come, Frodo's going to dunk that ring, or the last stronghold's going to be taken in that set of 10 actions.
And Frodo's almost.
He's like,
That was pretty much what happened with that game.
Yes.
I was right there, almost about to drop it in, and then Frodo succumbed.
And how does a 3-hour game always work out? That it's almost always last minute. Either the bad guy's going to win, or the good guy's going to win on one of those last dice. It's an amazingly balanced game. It's a great experience, and dripping with theme. You feel like you're playing out the books, the Lord of the Rings books.
Funny thing, actually, I did play that with James as the good Frodo. I took his strongholds.
Yes, they're called strongholds.
Yeah. So I actually, as the Fellowship,
You took one of his strongholds.
I think it was 2.
Well, it must have been not, because if you get 2 strongholds,
I won.
Oh, you won that way? You won on a military victory with the Free Peoples. I've seen that happen once to me again.
Yes.
If you're dumb as the shadow player and you leave too many things open, the Free Peoples might just grab 2. 4 points military victory for the Free Peoples, 10 points for the shadow player. So it's a really hard thing for
Well,
you to do.
and that was one of those times where James was rolling bad, and it was the top ones up at the top of the map.
You went up to like
Yeah.
Angmar, like or
Yeah.
Mount Gundabad,
Yeah,
Gundabad.
I'm so
Sorry.
bad with all those
Yeah,
names.
great names.
So,
Very cool.
but thank you for doing this for me.
Thank you for
I appreciate it.
making me the first one. It's awesome. This is great. Good luck with all of
Yes,
these.
thank you, and I will see you again later.